Hi, welcome to Jade Gaming. I'm Adam, and today I'm kind of do like a gaming discussion, almost, going over play by post, which is a method of running and doing role-playing games that I've done for a while. And what it is it's like specific online forums designed for you to play Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, those kind of games. I originally did it because I had my usual gaming group and I was moving halfway across the country for school for a while. And it allowed me to keep my same group and continue to game. One of the things I've come to love about it is that it gives you time to think. It's a much slower pace. That is true, because I've run games where a month of game time takes 2 to 3 years in real time to play. And really, it depends on how fast you post. I'll go decent amounts of time where I don't. And you can do it where you can play with strangers. Play by post is often designed like that. But I've done mine always in private threads with the same people that I game with in person. So let's come over. And there are two main websites that I know of that do this, and both of them pretty much have the same features, just organized a bit differently. One of them is Mythweavers, and the other one is RPG Crossing, which until recently was D&D online games, but it's RPG Crossing now because they wanted to express that they're more than just Dungeons and Dragons. I actually use both of them for different reasons. And both of them, you could use just one and it would function fine. I use Mythweavers for my character sheets just because I like the way they organize it better. And I use RPG Crossing for my actual threads because it was easier for me to get it set up and switched over to a private thread. It was just an easier process, so I was lazy. And so once I got it set up, I stuck with it. Generally, to go over that on RPG Crossing here, when you're signed up, you would go into Tools, and there's Request a Game, and really, it takes a few days. You fill out information about the game you're requesting, and they'll set up essentially a basic thread with you as the Dungeon Master, which gives you special permissions. You can see all the secret text and that kind of thing. You get to create the threads, all that stuff. Here on Mythweavers, I use it for the sheets, which it has. Here are all the sheets that I use that are any major NPCs or that kind of thing. However, I also just have for like my players. I just keep them bookmarked in my browser. And as you see, here's a 3.5 sheet for my player David's character Squat, who is immortal and very good at climbing. This is for Unbalanced City Game, which I'll go over later. Ultimately, the character is incompetent but immortal. And I have so much fun. We'll go over those. I'll do further videos talking about some stuff later. But it gives plenty of space to write. At the bottom they have whatever enemies, character flaws, character traits, whatever boxes. But I've far too often seen them used just for whatever extra notes. So there's plenty of boxes just for extra notes. Then we have in D&Dog, I just have everything under subscriptions. I have up to 2 pages, whatever, currently with threads that I've subscribed to for games, either current or past, that I'm either playing in or not. And then up at the top here are the ones that are sort of different colored. Those are ones I need to post in. And I'm going to grab one of those. Like I'm doing a Star Wars game online. And I have... currently, they're in the middle of a space battle. And you can see here I have up top some main things that I like. They have a dice roller, which you can do multiple ways. Here are one of my players rolling his dice, and he just did a simple, entered it in the dice roller, came out playing. Here is how I usually roll mine. I literally have attack and just the number. If you hover over it, it gives you the information, but I inline most of my dice rolls, just because it keeps it looking cleaner. It has that option. And then I have secret text here for myself, which is how I've been keeping track of the enemy's ship. So right now, we have the character here that's unconscious, but he's essentially going to be the pilot once he's conscious again. So he's been keeping track a lot of their damage and their ship, at least partially for me. And then I have right at the bottom here the little quick post, which has really all the options I need. First off, the ship that they're firing on, they hit with the 20, and that ship has no shields but 15 DR, so 52 damage is 37, right? So 37. So it has 72. Oh no, that's damage. Of like 200. So. So it's taking 146. I make a note for myself. I can go with this sh button and just put it in a space. It's now secreted just for me. And that's another thing, is you can do, it's a lot less metagaming, because you can do secret text where they literally have no idea that you're doing secret text. He's keeping track of their ship, so I don't have to worry about making sure that happened. There is another guy that's in here, but it's been half a week, or something like that, and I know he's been on, so he's chosen not to post. I'm going to let it skip, and I'm going to sort of opt for this to go near the end of the combat and let them get away. This ship isn't going to win, and I just wanted enough to put a bit of tension as they're escaping. So I'm going to secret text to him and just let him know that. So now I can tell just that player. I'm skipping his attack. He took too long. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them fire once more and run. So just under the normal post, I could go fire off a final shot and attack of, and I just double check my numbers here. They get their bonus for attack is +6. So I would do this little dice. I num d20 +6. I num is to inline the number. It's a d20 +6. And then just continuing the sentence, dealing, and this thing does 4 d10s times 2. So I do another dice. I num 4d10 star 2. Damage if it hits. Then the ship moves to, now let's go fly past you back the way you came. So really it's just sort of, it's returning to where they came from, it's giving up pursuit, it's taking most of its damage, it's going to bother to try and flee. I could let it stay and die, but there's far too many just people on the starship that it doesn't make sense for them just to want to die. So then simply post that quick reply. You see here, the secret text will only show up for me because I am the dungeon master. It shows up for nobody, but because I'm the dungeon master in this thread, the game master, I see all secret text. This next secret text is for my player Dustin, and I'm just letting him know what's going on since he didn't do his attack. And then I just have this, everyone else just sees these other two. They fire a final shot with an attack of 25, which hits, dealing 46 damage. Then the ship moves to fly past and back the way you came from. So in other words, the ship managed to do one final blow against them, and then it's fleeing. And if I go back to my subscriptions, you'll find that while it's still at the top because it's most recent, it's no longer yellow, so I know it's not something that is, where I've not posted, where I need to post. And yes, and all of mine are private threads, which keeps others from posting in them, since I do just run games for people I know in real life. But you can run games for people, people you don't actually know. You can, they have ways to set up where they help locate players for your games or that kind of thing. But it's really been, it was an advantage when I was, living in Florida. My friends are back here in the Midwest. But I've continued those games still. I'm running the Star Wars one. I have one that's in Pathfinder. I have one that has 2 players that's an epic level game where they're powerful enough that they can't do anything, or well, I can't do anything against them, and so it's just me sort of making up story and putting them in situations to see what they do with it. And then I have what I call my unbalanced city game, and it's where all the characters, essentially they drew cards for random abilities and stat generation, and they barely ever see each other. Each one of them has its own separate thread, and there have been times where they've met. Most of them have met each other. I think at this point, all of them have met each other, except maybe one who got tired of his character and just was like, "Can I start a new one?" I'm like, "Sure," because that thread, it doesn't really matter. I'm like, "All right, your character goes off and continues normal life." It's a city game. It is not an adventure. It's just in a kind of a weird city. And then I also have a modern game that's The Spy, the Agents of International Espionage, and it's where it's sort of I got on a kick where I was watching a bunch of James Bond movies and decided, I'm going to run a game like that. So I have been. And at some point I'll go over some of the stuff, and if you're interested. But really, if you don't have a normal gaming group that meets on a regular basis, or if maybe your group can only actually meet together, once a month or every other week, it's a way to fill in gaming time around that. You can have another game that's running online. I do a lot. I'm actually in 1 or 2 that friends are running that rarely get posts in them as well. But I do I run most of them that I do. But yeah, it's an interesting thing to check. I'll put both the sites down below so you can check out what the options are for that if you're interested. Otherwise, have a great day.